What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today is the triumphant return of I Suck at English and r/Tales of Neckbeards. Yes, very fun. Alright, this story's called MetalBeard. Yes, they exist. Hello, everyone! My name is Lauren Marth, and here I am today to talk to you about a boyfriend I've had. Yes, I know, going out with a neckbeard is bad, but now we're talking about someone I shared a vivid interest with, metal music and punk rock in general. So let's move to the cast. So it's Lauren, that's me. I was a very shy metalhead girl at the time, but barely ever wore anything other than Doc Martens and a t-shirt of a band I liked. Tim, our MetalBeard. He was a year younger than me. He was 13 and I was 14. It was a pretty day in January. I was cold and I saw the only other metalhead in school who came to me. He has his battle jacket. For all of you folks who aren't used to the metal slang, this is the name you give to your jacket when it's full of patches and pins. Usually what you go into at a concert. So this metalhead, Tim, came to me with the brightest smile, and although he smelled terribly, and so did his jacket, I was cold enough to accept. I've been out of a relationship with a guy 4 years older than me. OP? I'm sorry, but that's not okay. I'm glad you're out of that relationship, and I'm not blaming you, don't worry. But 18-year-old guys shouldn't be dating 14-year-old girls, okay?
Hey, what's your name? I've been seeing you around and I wondered how you were doing.
He started, smiling at me while I was just sitting there, an earphone in and listening to some old Slipknot songs. Oh, hi, I'm Lauren. Nice to meet you. You're Tim, I think?
Yeah, that's me. I know you're a bassist. I've seen you walking around with your bass. I'm one too.
Well, that's great, I muttered. Back at the time, I was very shy and just wanted to end this conversation. Of course, it couldn't end like that.
Well, maybe we should go grab lunch one of these days. What are you listening to?
He was switching from one subject to another rather quickly, but I didn't mind. I had someone to take me out of the social misery I've been drowning in, so it was kinda nice. Slipknot.
Oh, you're listening to Vermilion Part 2?
He asked out of the blue, and I frowned. I remembered that this caught me off guard, as I didn't like it much by the time. For those who don't know Slipknot, it's in the album Subliminal Verse, and it's like one of the rare ballad-like songs that they released. No, Disaster Piece, which was a much harder song.
I didn't expect a girl to be listening to such brutal songs.
I laughed and looked at him before starting to explain to him that I deeply enjoyed extreme metal and black metal, which he didn't seem to get. But past this red flag, he really seemed great, so I went to talk with him, and I soon realized how creepily close he was to me. He kept trying to touch me, and although he was just very slender, unlike many neckbeards, he didn't have a fedora either. He kept calling me pet names, as well as the French equivalent for milady. I am Swiss. So he kept on talking, and the lack of choice was setting in for me. I accepted to go out with him. We went official, but no one really cared, as everyone seemed to already know about it. For a little note, even though I listened to a lot of metal, I was much more on the punk rock side and have a mohawk by the time. The joke was that we were like Motorhead, which is his favorite band, who mixes a bit of the two music genres. So, moving past a month, my family surprised me with 4 tickets for Metallica. They knew about Tim and were fine with him as they met him, and aside from his horrible body odor, he acted nicely towards my parents. I only didn't know how freaking disgusting this boy was. We went, and of course, as the small, absolutely degenerated metalhead I was, I managed to slip to the front and headbang my muscles off. I couldn't turn my head for 2 days. I am a very intense participant of concerts. Tim didn't do much, and he was jealous when I managed to get one of James Hetfield's picks / mediator. I don't know. don't know what a mediator is. I remember that he was mad at me for a week or so, but by the time my Asperger's started kicking in more, one of the signs being that I couldn't bear being touched. So that didn't please Tim at all. He was mad at me for refusing hugs and kisses, even though I told him about my condition and it affects many times. Or many things, I'm assuming. I consider my autism as a gift though, because it allows me to do so much. So that's when he started acting in a way that made me want to dump him. He started to act so entitled and forced his affection onto me, which I didn't like at all. So far, the first time we went out, it wasn't so bad. But he kept talking about how females in rock and roll were just women who weren't even gifted with half the talent of a David Bowie, and the more it went, the more I wanted to punch him. The moment I dumped him was when he insulted my friend Marie, today deceased, who was playing in a French-Canadian band called Les Odeurs in Enoch. I'm not gonna try. I already did, but no more. Which translates literally to the Ionic Scums. That's sick. And he kept saying that she was a bimbo for showing her body. She wore skirts and tight shirts, even though she was a fatty. What? Jeez. I instantly broke up with him and told him to never approach me again. However, Tim wasn't over. Of course not. That little son of a woman came back to me a year or so later. He had changed. Shorter hair, he didn't smell as bad anymore, and he seemed to have a better vision of women in and out of music. We started talking again, and he apologized even though he stayed very touchy. I was fine with it though, since we've once been that close. It didn't seem too odd to me. He seemed to really have evolved to something better, but really, he wasn't. We continued talking, and now he had some douchebag attitude towards people of color in music. We both hated K-pop and had a lot of troubling listening to Asiatic metal in general, as we just found it rather uninteresting. We didn't try everything, obviously, but the accent when they sang in English and the fact that we didn't understand the lyrics didn't help us to enjoy it. I didn't like it. I hated it, and still hate every racist behavior, as it's nothing but crappy and stupid. However, I beat him on many levels with a far wider knowledge of music in general. It is the reason I'm still alive, and he often just dropped the case. I was happy for a while, but that's until he started calling me his sexy demon and talked about my chest a lot. You guessed it, dear reader. Puberty had kicked in while I was away. Great. I didn't mind it, as my ex was a little talkative about the subject, but never tried anything, so I just guessed it would be the same with Tim. How wrong was I? One day during recess, he took my hand and we walked around the school. No one ever goes behind it, and we often went to be able to listen to music and watch videos without having our phones taken. In class, we had to present an object from our childhood in class. I had it with me as it was for the French lesson right after. Mine was a 30-centimeter tall marble statuette of Anubis, which is the Egyptian god of the dead, not god of death, and was walking around with that figure that followed me all throughout my younger years. I can never thank it enough for how it helped me though. So he walked down and Tim went for a kiss. A little reluctant, I still gave it to him and held on to my statue, but I didn't expect what followed. See, I didn't dress like a normal girl dresses, and skirts weren't my thing. But on that particular day, I was wearing a red skirt uniform and it was going down to my knees. It was my first concert that night, and I was overthinking everything, so my mother sent me to school in the clothes I'd be wearing for tonight, so I'd get used to wearing them. It was a punk rock concert, so of course, once again, I was nailing the look with everything that you could think of. The thing is, I was going to be the artist. Well, that was arousing for Tim, so he kinda slammed me against the wall, enough to make me panic, and then started to try to get his hands on my breasts and under my skirt. I panicked. I told him that I didn't want that, as I already said before that I thought thought I was asexual, not aromantic though, which led me to be with him without any intent of sexual intercourse. I was also too young. He didn't stop, of course, and I had to slam my marble statuette right in his nuts. Oh, come on. You should have said marbles for him to let go of me. Or was that like comedic? Were you saying like right in his nuts? Because we expected you to say marble. Either you're a genius and I'm stupid, or you just missed an opportunity. I let it go without telling anyone. That is until he decided to try to take legal action against me for absolutely crushing his sorry excuse of a penis with the godly figure of the now god who was keeping the soul of the millions of potential kids he'll probably never have. Oh, the police here being very understanding, I've been called and they listened to my version. After confirmation of a witness in the person of a teacher who came to check on what was happening because I was very loudly telling him no and step off, even screaming. He dropped the charges and so did we, and I thought it was over. That is, until he tried to do something to a student who was on a student exchange in the French part of Switzerland. She was from the German part and found herself to be a metalhead too. I tried to warn her, but really, she didn't listen, and when he tried something, she managed to escape him and come to me to apologize for not believing me. Yikes. Okay. Okay, garbage man. Is that all it takes to be a neckbeard? You just have to have bad hygiene and just freaking harass people constantly? Thank you, OP, for sharing. And I'm really hoping that, you're learning how to stay safe, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of nasty people, literally nasty. I've heard a lot of good things about the metal community. For instance, like mosh pit etiquette and how it's like a lawless wasteland that somehow manages to go well. It works itself out because if you're a jerk in a mosh pit, you will get checked. Like, there's no joke. So, it's a beautiful thing, and I'm glad you have a cool community. But if they're all if a lot of them are jerks like Tim here, Mr. MetalBeard, well, that's not good. Basically, I'm asking, is it good? Are they good? Is the metal community super sweeties? This story's called SoftballBeard. I remember this encounter. I sure hope. I wish I could forget. I sure don't. My sister posted on Facebook about her first game on her high school softball team. No anime beard or Vicky. Sorry, but I'll post the Christmas story. A year ago, my sister made it on her softball team. I promised to make it to her first game. Fred heard and told me that he's coming to cheer her on. I was excited. My sister called.
OP, are you coming to the game?
Of course. Fred and I would be there. So is my mother. You want Taylor there?
Yes, more people, please. I'm so nervous. It'd be nice to have a cheer section. Can his siblings come?
I can ask.
Please?
Fred, can you call your 8 siblings? Yes, I can. Game day. Everyone came. I mean everyone. Taylor, Nick, and every single sibling. We brought chairs since if we go on bleachers, there will be no seats. I picked the shady spot. My sister came over and smiled.
Everyone came.
Anything for family.
Thank you. You want drinks? I don't want you to overheat. I have 6 water bottles.
I'm gonna get some water. Want anything? Everyone asked for drinks and snacks. I smiled and went to the snack bar. Fred was talking to my sister. I went in line. I felt a tap. I turn around. I saw him. SoftballBeard. Tall, overweight, horrible body odor. There it is. And the most creepy smile. I went to leave or scream for my husband. I'm sorry, was I in the way of the menu?
No, you're really pretty.
Thank you. I turn around to the snack bar.
Nice ass.
Pervert.
Wanna sit next to me?
I'm sitting with my family and in-laws. I smile and realize that I was next. I ordered drinks and food that my in-laws asked for. I was about to take my wallet out.
I'll pay for it.
I got it.
Pay for it with a date.
I'm married.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. I paid for the food and drinks. I tipped because they were high schoolers raising money for college fund. I went to the food window, realizing that I can't carry all of it. I called for Fred to help. Fred, can you help me?
Calling for your husband?
Yes, she is. I'm her husband.
Yeah, right. I doubt it.
I raised my left hand to show him my ring. I'm happily married. Fred grabs the drinks and I grab the food. Fred and I walk to our seats. My sister was about to throw the first pitch. I turned around and saw the SoftballBeard walking towards us. I felt uncomfortable and I held Fred's hand. I was scared.
I thought we were going out on a date.
She's married to me. SoftballBeard looks at my husband and his twin.
There's two of you?
Yes, I love them. I winked at George and he played along. I love her. He kissed my cheek and showed off my ring. My brother and I share. So back off.
You're probably abusive.
I started laughing. Abusive? He doesn't hit me.
Abusive? My son isn't abusive.
So back off. She's married. Have some respect.
He's abusive.
He's not abusive. I ignore him. I cheer for my sister. Even though I don't understand softball, I tried so hard to understand. I watch every game. My mom videotapes each game if I'm working. I cheer loudly when she hit a home run. SoftballBeard was staring at me, but I don't care. He stared at my legs, and since I was wearing shorts with fishnets and a band shirt, I drink some of my water and continue to watch my sister. My sister's team lost by 1 point. I decided to take her out for ice cream. Ice cream! You played really well, let's celebrate!
Okay.
We packed up and I texted Taylor the ice cream parlor. I smiled brightly. I did notice that SoftballBeard would follow me. Everyone was walking to their cars. Siblings into Taylor's van. Fred, George, Angel, and I went into my black Jeep. I drove to the ice cream parlor. The ice cream parlor didn't change since the 50s. The tables were vintage car theme, waitstaff on roller skates. It was a fun place. I noticed SoftballBeard, but I shrugged and ordered banana split milkshake with 2 straws since both of us couldn't finish a large milkshake by ourselves.
Nice to see you here.
Did you follow us here?
I want to make sure I get your number.
I'm married. Very happily married. Fred kissed my cheek and I blushed. See? I'm happily married to him. My husband. He walked back to his table alone. Fred, my in-laws, and I celebrate my sister's first game. Ice cream and family makes a loss into a win. Nick and I argue over who's paying. He won since he took the check and I put his card in. I got the tip. We all went home filled with ice cream. Man. Okay, now I know why we stopped reading from this subreddit. It's all just a bunch of harassment. And I feel like saying like just calling these people neckbeards really just takes away from it's almost like trivializing it. I feel like that's not okay. It's not funny. It's not like let's make fun of. It's not. It's just weird, man. Not against I'm not like sliding the OPs. I'm happy they're sharing, but like, God, that's creepy. You're not a neckbeard. You're a perv. You're a creep. All right, sorry, I got that out of my system.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.